Good Monday morning, Science of Nutrition and Exercise students. Welcome to week 4 of the semester. So we're moving right along, almost a third of the way through. For this particular week, if we look at our schedule for week 4, you're just reading one chapter. That's chapter 8. Now, please note that in chapter 8, it does go over calculations, a little bit of math as far as changing grams into calories and calculating percentage of total calories from carb, protein, and fat. So there's some math involved in chapter 8. And note that you'll be using a lot of that math in figuring out how to do your dietary analysis, your personal dietary analysis, which you can see that is actually coming up. It's due week 6, the end of week 6. So I'm just going to do a quick explanation of that today as well. But as far as homework assignments, you're doing chapter 8, pre and post learning assessments for MindTap. You're doing the case study, and then you also have a diet and wellness skill building exercise. And you've done one of those last week, so you should have a good understanding of how to use that diet and wellness app. Also, you're taking your first exam, okay? So that exam, you can see what chapters it does cover and where is it located. You're going to go to the quiz button for that, and you'll find it under there. So you can see quiz number 1, it's available. I'll have to change that deadline, but you'll have until this Sunday, 11:59 p.m. to take that first exam. So please make sure that you do that along with taking the MindTap assessments for week 4. So if you go to the week 3 and 4 module, you're doing your MindTap assessments just for chapter 8 this week. Okay, so you've got here all of your chapter 8 assessments that are going to be due this particular week. Okay, so make sure that you take all of those this week. As far as the personal diet analysis, to find the instructions on how to do that, if you go down to this diet analysis assignment module, you will see the first 3 links are basically what you're going to use. This first link is my instructions, and they're pretty detailed. So honestly, if you just read through my step-by-step instructions here, you'll be fine. But as far as recording your food intake for step 1, I did provide food logs for you here. So if you open those up, you'll see you'll have 3 days. So day 1, day 2, and day 3. Now, when you record your foods for those 3 days, please make sure that they're consecutive days. So it either would be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, because I'd like you to do 2 weekdays and 1 weekend day. And that way you have a snapshot of your overall diet, because we don't always eat the same on the weekends as we do during the week. So we want kind of a mixture of both. The other thing I want to note is to please be honest. Don't leave anything off of your food log. It's really important that you're honest about everything you're ingesting, how much of it you are ingesting. In order for this to be a valuable learning experience for you, I need you to be open and honest about it. And therefore, you can hopefully make some good dietary changes as a result. So you're going to record everything on your logs here. So in my instructions, I did explain under record food intake exactly how to do that. Okay, so just follow my instructions. Once you're finished recording your food intake, then you're going to do the math. You're going to do the calculations. So I gave you an example here of, this is just a meal, but for each day, you're going to total up some different columns. And as far as fat, carb, and protein, you need to change grams into calories. So for fat, you're going to multiply by 9 to do that. For protein and carbs, you're going to multiply by 4 to do that. Once you get those 3 calorie numbers, you're going to add them together, and that'll give you your total calories for the day. To calculate percentage of total calories from carb, protein, and fat, you simply take your calories for each, like carb calories, and divide them by the total calories for the day to get your percentage. So you'll do that for carb, protein, and fat. Because on your food logs, you'll see back on that first day, I have what's called a totals page. So you're going to total everything up for your first day, and you're going to put it right here. Do the same thing for your second day, and the same thing for your third day. So the totals will go on this page, and then your actual logs will be these 3 pages. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to get started is that, okay, because this is a pretty hefty assignment. It's going to take you a little bit of time. So I would suggest at least getting your foods logged and then go ahead and get your totals finished. Once you're done with that, then you can move on to step 3 where you're actually going to analyze it. Now you've already learned how to use the diet and wellness, but you're going to create your own profile this time for yourself. So remember, if we go into MindTap, so if I just go to MindTap Access and Resources and just click on this, enter your MindTap Access Code module again, or link, I'm sorry, it'll open up MindTap. And then remember over here on the far right hand side, you had all those little icons. So go to the apple and open it up. Okay, now this is Diet and Wellness Plus, and then you'll be able to enter in your own profile. So create a new profile for yourself. I know last week you had to create a profile for one of your assignments, but today, or for this assignment, you're going to create your own profile for yourself. So once you've created your own profile, then you can start just tracking your diet, right? By entering the foods one by one, searching the database. If the food isn't there, you want to put a custom food in, or maybe a recipe, something that you made at home, and that way you can choose one serving out of that particular recipe, and it'll calculate it all for you. So I gave you explanations on how to do that. Once you've entered in your foods for each individual day, then you're going to do reports, okay? And I've listed each report that I'd like you to gather. Now note that when you're recording your foods, when you're tracking your diet, make sure that each day is listed. So if I enter all my foods in for today, I'd put that date. But then when you do the next day, you want to change that date, okay? So they're separated. When you print off your reports, let's say you want a intake versus goals report. And I had said I want one for each day and then a 3-day average. So you're going to do day 1, start and finish. And you're going to print that report off. Okay, now then if you want to go to day 2, you just change the date to the next day, start and finish on the same day, and then do the same thing for day 3. When you want a 3-day average, you simply start on the first day, and then you end on the last day, whatever that may be, okay? Maybe the 16th, 17th, and 18th. Those would be the 3 days that I wanted to average out, and then I'd print a report for that. So for each report, it's important that you have the correct dates at the top. But here under the reports button, you'll see a list of all the different reports that you can print off. The main ones I need are the My Plate analysis, the intake versus goals, the source analysis, and the macronutrient range reports. Those are the 3. So once you have gathered all of your reports, because there's quite a few, then you're going to be able to really dig through that information and answer my questions. So there's the paper. So I have 11 questions that I've posed that you're going to be typing up your answers to. And you'll be able to find all of those answers from your reports and all of the items that you have, in front of you as far as the MindTap stuff. So that's kind of in a nutshell how to get started. I encourage you to get started on it. Like I said, it's not due for a couple weeks, but it's pretty hefty, and you don't want to wait till the day that it's due to try to submit it, because there's just no way. When you're logging your foods, I definitely encourage you to log them during the day as you go through the day, because I guarantee it's really hard to say, okay, what did I eat for breakfast 3 days ago? What did I have for a snack? What did I have for, it's too difficult. And I know we're going to end up leaving foods out. And that's not going to be valuable. It's not going to be helpful for you. So my suggestion is, as you go through the course of the day, jot it down on a sheet of paper, and then maybe that evening you can transfer it into your food log. Okay, so as you go through the day, write your foods down, write how much of them you had, everything you had to drink, all of that has to be logged. Okay, so that assignment is going to be submitted under the assignments tab here, and you'll see personal diet analysis. So it's going to go right into that Dropbox. So if you have specific questions as you start looking at that assignment, feel free to email me with them. I can be very helpful. But that's something I suggest you get started with. Next week I'll give just a general explanation of it to keep you on task. But again, it's not due this week, but you're more than welcome to submit it early if you prefer. But at least make sure you're taking the exam this week. Again, exam number 1 under the quiz button. And then week 4 materials under Mind Tap. So if you go to week 4, weeks 3 and 4 module, you'll need to take all chapter 8 assessments. Okay, so going down, everything for chapter 8 needs to be completed this week. All right, have a fantastic day, and I will be talking to you again next Monday.